We were discussing the covalent bond formation in last 3 or 4 videos of chemical bonding, where we have discussed Lewis concept, VACPR theory, valence bond theory and hybridization for covalent bond formation. So when you take the Lewis concept and the valence bond theory, it explains the chemical bonding and molecular structure clearly. But these two approaches does not describe some of the observed properties of a covalent molecule. For example, you take valence bond theory, it's considered the oxygen as a diamagnetic, but experimentally oxygen is found to be paramagnetic. So why it is considered to be oxygen is found to be a diamagnetic, but when you take oxygen molecule, the total number of electrons in oxygen molecule, it is found to be 16. Since we are having an even number, all these electrons are paired up. So it is found to be diamagnetic. This oxygen is found to be diamagnetic because 16 electron. Each oxygen has 8 electrons. So total number of electrons is 16. So all the electrons are paired up. So it is found to be diamagnetic. But actually experimentally it is found to be paramagnetic. That means when in the absence of magnetic field, these electrons will be like this. It will not be aligned in some particular position. But when you keep a magnetic field, a north pole and south pole, when you pass an oxygen molecule, liquid oxygen, these electrons will be aligned in this way. So in this way they get aligned. That is what we call it as paramagnetism. So this paramagnetic property is not explained by valence bond theory or Lewis concept, but this paramagnetic property of oxygen molecule was explained by molecular orbital theory, and this molecular orbital theory was developed by Hunt and Mulligan. So in this video we are going to discuss the molecular orbital theory in detail. So what is happening in molecular orbital theory, that is MOT theory. So the name is molecular orbital. Here the atomic orbitals we have learned, and these atomic orbitals, they will combine to form molecular orbitals, and then the bonding will take place that will result in the formation of molecules. The molecular orbital theory is very big theory, and they have summarized the theory in the form of postulates. If you learn the postulate, then you will have a better understanding of the theory and you will be able to apply the theory to the molecules. In this video, I am going to discuss the postulates one by one so that you will have a better understanding of the theory. The first postulate is when two atoms combine to form molecules, then the individual atomic orbitals present in the atoms, they will lose their identity and new orbitals called molecular orbitals are formed. So in the atoms you will have atomic orbitals, and these atomic orbitals, they will combine. When the atoms combine to form molecules, these atomic orbitals, they will lose their identity and they will be converted to the molecular orbitals, and these molecular orbitals will form molecules after the bonding. So this is the explanation of the first postulate. So what are the types of atomic orbitals that will undergo formation of molecular orbitals? The first one, s orbital, which is spherical in shape, and then p orbital, which are dumbbell shape. So px, py and pz. So if the dumbbell is on the x direction, px. If it is along the y, py. If it is along the z, we have pz direction. All the three p orbitals are degenerate, having the same energy. Then the d orbital. The d orbital is double dumbbell shape. So you have 5 d orbitals, that is dxy. The double dumbbell is in the plane between x and y. Then dxz, the double dumbbell is between x and z. So then dyz, it is between y and z. And then dx square minus y square, the double dumbbell is along x and y direction. Then dz squared is, you will have one dumbbell along the z direction and you have a downward shape in the middle. So this is dz squared. So all the 5 d orbitals having the same energy, they are called as degenerate orbitals. So this s p and d orbitals. All these three types of orbitals, they will undergo the formation of molecular orbitals. The second postulate is the shapes of molecular orbitals depend on the shapes of atomic orbitals. For example, you have s orbital and s orbital, they will combine to form molecular orbitals. So these are the molecular orbitals. The shapes of these molecular orbitals depend on the shapes of this s orbitals. Similarly here px orbital and px orbital, they will mix. So and they will form this molecular orbitals and whose shapes depend on these two py orbitals, ps orbital. Similarly here py orbitals and py orbitals, they will mix to form two molecular orbitals whose shapes depend on their atomic orbitals. Similarly here also. So we can say that the shapes of molecular orbitals depend on the shapes of atomic orbitals. So next, third point, the number of molecular orbitals formed will be equal to the number of atomic orbitals, combining atomic orbitals. For example, here you take, here the 1s orbital and 1s orbital, they will mix. So you have taken two atomic orbitals. So two atomic orbitals we have taken and they will combine to form here one atomic molecular orbital and here one molecular orbital. So you are getting two molecular orbitals. So the number of molecular orbitals formed depends upon the number of atomic orbitals. So if two atomic orbitals combine, you will be getting two molecular orbitals. So here, similarly here also, here one py orbital and this px orbital, they will combine. So you have taken two. So these two atomic orbitals, they will combine to form here one and here one. So you are getting totally two molecular orbitals. Similarly here also. Here in this case, this s orbital and this s orbital, they will undergo head-on overlapping. And here also this px and ps orbital, they will undergo head-on overlapping. But here the 2py orbital and this 2py orbital, they will undergo lateral overlapping. So you are getting two molecular orbitals. One is here, the other one is here. So you are getting two molecular orbitals because two atomic orbitals combine. So you are getting two molecular orbitals. Here also the same thing. Here 2pz and 2pz orbital, they two atomic orbitals. So these are two atomic orbitals. So you are getting here one, two molecular orbitals. And out of two, half the number of molecular orbitals formed will be having lower energy than the corresponding atomic orbitals. Here when you take the s orbital and this s orbital, they will combine to form two molecular orbitals, here one and here one, and the half the number, that means one of the molecular orbital, that is having a lower energy. So this is having lower energy compared to this one. So this energy is here, and but this energy is lower than the atomic orbitals, and this lower energy molecular orbital is called as bonding molecular orbital. So this is called as bonding molecular orbital and it is represented as sigma. So you can represent this this orbital, which is called as bonding molecular orbital, and it is represented as sigma. And the remaining molecular orbitals, that is having higher energy, and that is called as anti-bonding molecular orbitals, and it is represented as sigma star. So here you have s orbital and this 1s orbital and this 1s orbital, they will combine to form, this is one orbital which is having lower energy called as bonding molecular orbital and is represented as sigma. The other one, this one is having higher energy compared to atomic orbitals, and it is called as anti-bonding molecular orbital, and it is represented as sigma star. And similarly here when you take this 2px and this 2px orbital, they will undergo head-on overlap. So you are getting here one orbital which is having lower energy. So it is called as bonding molecular orbital, and it is represented as sigma 2px. And the other one which is having higher energy compared to this one. So it is called as anti-bonding molecular orbital, and it is represented as sigma star 2px. So these two will undergo, so this one and this one, they will undergo head-on overlap. So we are getting sigma bond. But here the 2py orbital and this 2py orbital, they will undergo lateral overlapping to form two molecular orbitals. So one is having the lower energy called as bonding molecular orbital, and it is represented as pi 2py. And it is represented because it is pi means lateral overlapping, and here it is having a higher energy compared to this molecular orbital. So it is called as anti-bonding molecular orbital, and it is represented as pi star 2py. Similarly, here U2pz and 2pz orbital, they will undergo lateral overlapping to form two molecular orbital. One is having lower energy, that is called as bonding molecular orbital, and it is represented as pi 2pz, and the other one is having higher energy. So it is having higher energy, and it is called as pi star 2pz, and it is called as anti-bonding molecular orbital. So this is about the sigma star and pi star, how they overlap. The formation of bonding and antibonding molecular orbitals can be explained with the help of linear combination of atomic orbitals. So the atomic orbitals are represented by the wave function psi. For example, you take the 1s orbital and is having one electron. This electron moves in the form of a wave. So it will move like this. So it will move in the form of a wave. And this is what we call it as crest, and this is we call it as trough. And crest we denote as plus, and the trough we denote as minus. Suppose you take another 1s orbital with one electron, and this electron also moves in the form of a wave. So you will have like this. So you will have this one called as crest, so positive, and this one is called as trough, and it is negative. So when this 1s orbital and this 1s orbital, they meet each other, when that crest moves meet with crest, so that is this wave function, this positive wave function will meet with the positive wave function, because they will be in phase, so they will meet each other, they get added up, and you will be having a constructive interference. But when negative meets with negative, there is a constructive interference. So here you can explain here like this, that is, you take a 1s orbital of hydrogen with one electron whose wave function is positive, so you have a crest. Now another 1s orbital of another hydrogen and whose wave function is also positive. So when they meet each other, they get added up. So this wave function and this wave functions, they get added up, and so you will be getting a molecular orbital which is mainly due to the constructive interference. So whose molecular orbital you can represent like this. So whose wave function you will be having like this. So because they gets added up, because they are in phase, so that is what we call it as constructive interference, and you will be getting a molecular orbital, and this molecular orbital is having lower energy compared to the atomic orbitals, and so it is called as bonding molecular orbital, and it is represented as sigma 1s. And sigma 1s, which is having lower energy, which is mainly due to the constructive interference. So constructive interference is possible when the wave functions, when that is psi plus and psi plus, when they get added up, because they are in phase. So they get added up, and so you will be getting a constructive interference. Now we go for another one. So here you have 1s orbital of one hydrogen whose wave function is positive, and another 1s orbital of another hydrogen whose wave function is negative. So this is positive and this is negative. So these two wave functions are out of phase. So when they meet each other, they are not added up, instead they get subtracted. So they are in out of phase, so they get subtracted, and you will be getting a molecular orbital which is mainly due to destructive interference, and the molecular orbital wave function will be like this. and due to this molecular orbital is having higher energy, and so it is called as anti-bonding molecular orbital, and it is represented as sigma star 1s. And because they undergo head-on overlap, so it is called as sigma. Due to 1s orbital, we write it as 1s. So sigma star 1s. And molecular orbital shape will be like this. So you will be having two lobes, one is positive and the other one is negative, and in between you have a node where there is no electron present. And so this is mainly due to the destructive interference, and the wave functions, they are not added up and they get subtracted. So molecular orbital wave function is like this. So this is the case with antibonding molecular orbital. So we can explain through molecular orbital diagram. So here you can take 1s orbital of one atom and 1s orbital of another atom. So when they approach each other, and they will mix to form two molecular orbitals. So one is having a lower energy, and this lower energy molecular orbital is called as bonding molecular orbital, and this bonding molecular orbital is formed by the constructive interference of the atomic orbital. So there is a wave function psi plus. For this one is here also psi plus, they gets added up. So these two gets added up and there is a constructive interference. So you are getting a molecular orbital whose energy is lower than the atomic orbital. So here you have atomic orbital energy. Molecular orbital energy is here. So it is lower than the atomic orbital energy, and so it is called as bonding molecular orbital, which is mainly due to constructive interference. And another molecular orbital whose energy is greater than the atomic orbitals. So and this is mainly due to the destructive interference. So the destructive interference means you have psi plus and psi minus you will be having, and these two gets subtracted. They get subtracted because they are not in phase, they are out of phase. So these two wave functions, they are out of phase, so you will be having a destructive interference. Due to that you are getting a molecular orbital whose energy is higher than the atomic orbitals, than that of the atomic orbitals. So they are called as anti-bonding molecular orbitals, and it is represented as sigma star 1s. Whose the molecular orbital shape will be like this. So you will be having two lobes, one will be like this, having a positive sign, and the other will be having a negative sign. So this is about the molecular orbital diagram for 1s orbital. Suppose you take a 2p orbitals. So here you have a 2p atomic orbital, and here it is a 2p atomic orbital of another atom. When they approach each other, you will be getting two molecular orbitals. One is having a lower energy and it is having constructive interference, and so you are getting a bonding molecular orbital, and since they undergo lateral overlapping, you are getting pi. So you can represent it as pi 2p. And here you will have these two wave functions, they are gets added up, they are in phase, so they gets added up and there is a constructive interference. Now another molecular orbital will be formed which is having a higher energy, and it is mainly due to the destructive interference of the wave function. So destructive interference is mainly due to the subtraction of the wave function. So it is psi plus and this is psi minus, they get subtracted, so there is a destructive interference of the wave function. So you are getting a molecular orbital whose energy will be higher than the atomic orbital. So you are getting anti-bonding molecular orbitals, and this anti-bonding molecular orbital is represented as pi star 2p.